But yeah, let's keep it pushing to the main event because
Main event, which I was super pumped for and super let down by.
exactly, man. That's I know there's a lot of punches and kicks and takedowns to talk about, but it sucks. Like that's the real storyline here. The real storyline is that this fight wasn't fun, and that we had all been looking forward to it for like not even months, bro. Like a year. Like we all saw this Cyril Gane like rise. We all knew like the crescendo point. Like we all knew all where all roads led to. You know what I'm saying? And so
You know
like
what
we've been
sucked
looking.
about this fight, man? Is it's a story of 2 rounds and 3 rounds, and none of the 5 of those rounds are entertaining necessarily.
Yeah. Now I I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna rip this fight, and then I'm also gonna like look at it glass half full, because I think that from like an X's and O's standpoint, there's some things you can take away from this that necessarily are like are good things and like are impressive. But just real time in a fight that had been, we had been theorizing about and kind of wet dreaming about for fucking, 9 months to a year. It just did not live up to the hype. And I would say hype. It wasn't even that hype, which is another problem with this fight. They didn't sell it that great. But
Well, wait a minute. Tinfoil hat, Harrison's back because Dana did not want to sell this fight. It was not in their interest to promote Ngannou.
also, Cyril Gane just isn't that entertaining of a dude. Just
That was how we started the prelim show, though, right? Was me talking about how I don't want him as my heavyweight champion simply because the way he fights is to outpoint guys, and that's not
it,
fun at heavyweight.
it's like, and I know like time has done Demetrius Johnson a lot of good. Like Demetrius Johnson, like he gets remembered fondly now, and he looks phenomenal on paper and all that. Was a great UFC champ. But you remember at the time, everybody used to not like watching him fight when he was champ because his fights were, he would outpoint people. He wouldn't knock people out. Everybody knew he was going to win. So he wouldn't sell a lot of pay-per-views. He wasn't that popular of a champion. And like I said, time has done him a lot of favors. He's remembered fondly now. But in the moment, I feel like that's like Cyril Gane, right? Like it's just his style, his personality, hell, even how he dresses. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot
Yeah,
of guys that don't have like that good of a personality, but you dye your hair a fun color, you wear a crazy suit, and we got ourselves a show. But it's just he fucking wore jean shorts. He fucking looked like he was gonna like fix the pipes under your sink or some shit during the fucking press conference. Not that that's like the end all be all, but like I'm saying, if your fight style is not entertaining,
he
there's a
doesn't talk
language
shit. He
barrier.
barely
Your,
talks shit.
your personality is kind of bland, like, and you were gonna wear jorts just to cap it off. Like, come on now.
It was tough. It was entirely tough. Now that all being said, for Gane, I mean he's the minus 145 favorite, and Ngannou's plus 125 underdog. I actually loved Ngannou in this spot. Now, granted, for on Ngannou by KOs, I would have bet it, so I would have lost out on just that simple fact. And
Yeah,
that's the way
I
to get the
like.
juicy odds of plus 155, which wasn't even that rewarding
No, when it was plus 125 money line. So yeah, not the juice might not be worth the squeeze.
on
I
the
like the
KO. I
gun.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
on the K. I know that's what I'm saying to add
yeah,
the
yeah,
extra like
right.
caveat. I I actually like the money line in Ghana plus 125. I was pretty vocal about that on Twitter and stuff all week leading up to this.
I
I
think we've
like
been
Ghana
saying
on
that
this
this
fight.
whole time leading
Yeah.
up to this.
Now, Gon, just to paint the picture a little bit, he was the favorite. He's the interim champ. He's undefeated. The storyline coming in, we've never seen a guy with the footwork, the speed, the athleticism of a Cyril Gane. And then Ngannou, obviously most powerful guy in the UFC. Now, Ngannou came in, he weighed in at 257, but then looked massive in the cage. Do you think he cut down to 257 just to look good on the scales? What is that? Because why would you? What's the benefit? Like, why would you?
I think he does the same weight cut camp. Like I think he does the same camp every time, but I think his nutrition has gotten better over the years, so his
Okay.
standing weight's gotten better. So I just think that like instead of cutting to make 265 now, he just does the same workouts, cut style, and like diet essentially, and just that's his healthier weight now. His 257 is like his
He
natural
looked
fight
good.
weight. But if that's think about that, if that's your natural fight weight when you suck off like just the extra little bit of fat that you maybe just don't even need
Yeah, because
just
his
for your
waist
weigh
was
in,
narrow. His waist was narrow. He
right? Like
looked
he
good.
looked fantastic at 257. So like he might be optimizing right now. Like to be quite honest, I thought his
Yeah.
build looked fantastic for as far as how big he looked for and to be what he weighed. Because I thought he looked as big as he's ever looked, but obviously wasn't as big as he's ever been.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, looked lean and mean. Yeah, for sure. Now, round one, I thought round one was pretty close, man. The story's told that the round one was all Gane all day, every day. I thought round one was actually pretty close.
I thought it was interestingly close, right? Because it was like Ngannou was kind of playing Cyril Gane's game, and I didn't expect him to do that. Now, granted, he was landing a couple shots here and there, but Gane really wasn't landing as many shots as he normally does against those guys because he had to have so much more respect defensively for Ngannou's power. So, like, I thought it was actually a lot closer around than people painted it. I still scored it for Gane, don't get me
Me
wrong,
too. No, me too.
but
I
I,
feel
I
the
definitely had
exact
it as
same
an
way.
interestingly close first round. Interestingly being the important word there because of the style that Ngannou agreed to fight in.
Exactly. That was my biggest problem, right? It was just from the opening bell, it was like pretty obvious that like in Ngannou's fighting Gane's fight, right? Like, and he was whiffing real big.
Right.
I didn't like or I didn't like Ngannou's like shot selection. I didn't like
I thought that
his
continued into round
strategy.
two. I mean, do you
Yeah,
think I'm
I
crazy for
thought
that?
no, I thought it got worse in round two. I'll raise you. I'll up the ante. I think it got worse in round two. I thought round two was clearly Gane. And literally in my notes, I have it keeping it at distance with the jabs and the kicks and the volume, which lets you know it's a boring round. Like if that's all I can say, he kept it at distance. But when it's a style match, when it's a stylistic matchup like this, and one guy wins by keeping it at distance, that is how you win a round is by keeping
Two,
it at distance, right?
two,
Like I mean,
two is the only round that all three of the judges scored for Gone.
yeah,
You
I
know what
do
I
too.
mean? I
Yeah,
think I think that speaks clearly to that was his fight. Like round two is the fight that if that was all 25 minutes, that's Cyril Gane's belt, right?
yeah,
So round three is actually where we have this huge turning point, probably the most significant point in the fight,
yes.
which is Ngannou catches a Gane kick, gets a huge slam takedown, and
Huge. It was
realizes
dope.
it was
It
a
was
sick takedown.
it was
It was
like
a
some
sick takedown.
WWE shit. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
right. Which with heavyweights, like that's what you expect to see. Like it was tight, and like it can't feel good. Like let's be honest, it's a quarter-inch padding of foam over plywood on the surface. For those that don't know at home, like it's not padded like that. Like it looks
Oh yeah.
soft on your feet because you have a quarter-inch sink. But think about this much foam and you get slammed on wood.
Oh
Like
yeah. Especially
it ain't
guys
good.
that size. Oh yeah, that's crazy.
So,
Uh
but like point being of that is that I thought Ngannou realized at that point, like, oh, I'm the physically more dominant man, and I'm just gonna do this fight here because he can't escape me here, and he did a good job
yeah.
of controlling Gane.
Yeah. And so it's also important to note that was the first time in Gane's professional career that he has ever been taken down.
Right.
Ever. And it was in phenomenal fashion. And people don't think of Ngannou as a wrestler. In the words of what Chael Sonnen said in his little review of this fight, he's like, Ngannou has never worn a singlet a day in his life. And he
Well,
was first taking
and
him down.
I would raise you well, and I'll say it this way too because I don't think we necessarily have to go round by round at this point in the fight once this occurs, right? Because here's what I would raise you is that was the first takedown that Cyril Gane's ever suffered because he got his kick caught and got put on his back. That's a pretty understandable takedown for a striker, right? Like you got your kick caught, and of course it caused you to lose your balance and takedown. What impressed me more was that Ngannou continued to get takedowns, and they were good
Yeah.
takedowns past
Hell
that.
yeah. So he got two takedowns in the third, and he got like what, three or four takedowns in the fourth? How many was it
Yeah,
in the
it
fourth?
was three in the fourth. Three in the fourth.
Three in the fourth, and then yeah, he was just a stronger man. He was able to keep him there. Now, my I didn't have a problem with Francis grappling. I actually thought that was pretty cool to like show something that you've
Especially
never
once you
really
heard his
shown.
post-fight remarks. Especially once you get those added into it. Like in hindsight, it's he fought the only fight he could fight.
No, where my problem came is I legitimately, and I don't think this is really a reach or a hot take. I think if Francis would have been more active with the ground and pound, he could have got the finish. There were openings.
I
There were openings,
questioned
and
I
he would
questioned the
let it.
lack of activity
Yeah,
on top. I thought he
because
might
I
have
don't
been
have
too
it.
passive there.
I agree. Now I feel you. He's not super comfortable. He doesn't want to lose the position. And Gane is, an athletic guy that can get back to his feet if you give him a little window. I I fucking I just wish I don't know, man, because it only takes a couple. Like even from ground and pound, it could still only take a couple, right? and especially on the ear. You know what I mean? Like, and they were there in there. The thing was, he was showing the ability to do it. Like he would land a shot on the ear, but then he would just like not follow it up. Like he would, I don't know. And just how big Francis's hands looked in the ground and pound. They're like
Yeah,
literally the size of
crazy.
Gane's head. Like if you just would have landed a couple to the ear, I think like the ref would have stopped it because like the ref is conscious of Francis's power.
I
And
think
I'll be completely honest, I didn't love Gane's body language on the bottom, and even though it was rare when Ngannou would land a ground and pound, I didn't like it. And Gane was not reacting well to it. So like I just think that like the finish was there, and it could have changed the whole narrative of this whole card, this whole fight. It would have made it not a snoozer. It would have made me not bummed on paying 75. Like I think the path to a finish. Now you can also say that that's probably how Ngannou would have gassed out. You know what I
no,
mean?
no, no, no. I think you're right on the money with what you said. I think that Ngannou was just scared to lose the position
I
because he
think so
realized that
too.
it was like his way to win. So I think he traded in like fuck the entertainment. I just want to keep the belt. Which
No,
respect to
yeah,
that, I get it. At the same time, it sucks because we see what this fight could have been, and then what this fight was. And so for those at home that are wondering, like, not to belay the point, I mean, we both scored at 48-47. It sounds like in Ngannou.
yeah, yeah.
Well, so
48,
two of the
47.
judges agree. One judge actually at 49-46 gave Ngannou the
Was that
first
the
round.
first round? Okay,
Yeah,
I
Saudi
don't hate
Amato,
that. I
which I
don't
don't
hate
hate.
it.
I thought it was
Yeah,
close.
that's
Like we said, that paints the picture of how close it was for those at home
yeah.
that are saying we're crazy. That was a close first. I thought the last three rounds were clearly Francis because he literally made the fight happen with him being the man in top control and position. Literally the first time Gon's ever been taken down. So with that into account as well of how like tumultuous that is in his
Well,
fight style.
go back in a time machine in your head. Think back to like when Francis Ngannou had braids, and everybody talked about how he had like no MMA skills, but he was just a
Got out
freak
wrestled
in
by
nature.
Stipe. That's how he lost the title
And,
fight the first time.
well, yeah, just those early Ngannou fights, and he was just this physical freak. He was super green. He just was swinging for the fences, and it was working. But now think about how it came full circle to how he's like getting takedowns against guys that's never been taken down, and keeping in top control. Like I said, you can paint a glass half empty picture of this fight, which I think is fair to do because it was kind of a snoozer. But you can also like be impressed with the fact that a guy like Francis Ngannou, this late into his career as a champion, is showing us things that he's never showed us. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
I think that's pretty
I think
cool, honestly.
I think his maturation as a champion is pretty awesome. Now, here's what I wanted to get into really about this fight. Is that Ngannou said his ACL and MCL are both torn, and then he tore them
Well,
in training camp.
I think he said MCL torn, ACL sprained, which I think is an
Oh,
important
okay,
distinction. I think that's
fair,
pretty important distinction. But still,
fair.
because Joe Rogan brought it up because he walked out wearing the knee sleeves, and he's never fought in knee sleeves before. And Joe Rogan was talking about it on the broadcast, saying, like, I wonder if he's hurt. I've never seen him wear knee sleeves. And then after the fight, he said he has a torn MCL. That's interesting because it's like, is he going to get surgery? Like, is that going to be a year-long layoff? Is that
Well,
going to
and
be
like, what could that fight have been if he was 100%? Like, I think that's where a lot of fans go with it. Is like, man, did we get robbed of a great fight? And then Ngannou saying that he didn't want to call it off because of the pressure between him and the promotion and stuff like
yeah,
that.
which I
So,
respect. I
so
respect.
I think it's a weird situation where I don't think there's a heavyweight that really can challenge Ngannou, but it's going to suck if he has to be out for 9 months to 12 months,
Yeah.
and we can't have because like an interim won't make really a lot of sense because we just saw how that went. Like, just let him keep fighting. Fuck the interim.
No, dude.
So
One of my other big takeaways: Francis Ngannou looked really slow, which is weird because we said he
did
looked
look
really.
slow, but I
Now,
also
is
think
that
that was
just Gane
patience.
making him look slow, or did he?
Yeah,
But like his hand, like as his hand was moving through the air, it looked slow. Like it
oh,
looked
see,
like
I've
it was
always felt
play.
that way about his punches. I just think they come from weird angles because he throws them so wild.
And he has really long arms, so it's like there's
Yeah,
a lot going on there. That's fair. And Gane makes a lot of people look slow, but yeah, I thought it was taking a long time to reach the target, and which resulted in him not reaching the target more often than not.
right.
Yeah, no, he had Gane. I just don't know how you like want people to get excited about like watching a Gane fight and pay a lot of money for it. You know what I mean? It's like a hard sell. No, I gotta be real, man. I came away from last night with a changed perspective. I came away from last night thinking John Jones beats Ngannou. Because if you think about it, John Jones is going to be just as fast and long and like technical and footwork as Gane, right?
But that
Essentially, I think
wrestling's
that
not going to work.
exactly. He's like, I mean, John Jones is a way like
But John
twice as.
Jones gets hit a lot more. I think his defense isn't near as good as Cyril Gane.
Well, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But also, I think John Jones could potentially put Ngannou on his back.
Also,
Uh,
Francis had a torn MCL.
yeah, yeah.
Hard
Fair,
to
fair,
say.
fair.
Hard to say.
So yeah, you're right. Heavyweight is a little murky, and I think I don't know. Last night, like I said, Francis showed us a lot, but it's just not what we wanted him to show us. And maybe we're spoiled. Maybe we're picky. Maybe like we just wanted the hell bomb, or it's like we wanted one of two things, right? We wanted either Gane to just piece up Ngannou for 5 rounds and prove that he's like some other level thing that we've never seen before, or we wanted to fucking see Ngannou, you know, launch Gane's head, you know,
Yeah, through the rafters.
exactly. And we got neither. So I think we just came away from it with almost like this blue balls type of feeling of like
Yeah,
not
that
being
is how this event
satisfied,
feels, man. I'm not
right?
satisfied by the event. I will give you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But yeah, man, another fun one, bro. I appreciate your time. UFC 270, Beefy Boys 74. Go subscribe on YouTube, like and share some videos, leave some comments on some YouTube videos. That really helps us out, everybody. I appreciate it, brother.
Always, man.